Hello, Bible 12. All right, here's what we got for today. It's actually mostly a work day for you. And I guess all days are kind of work days because you work during the day, but it's a day dedicated to work on things that you have already been assigned. Meaning, I know that it's been hard to keep up with your projects, especially without the constant reminder of a partner sitting next to you. And so today is your day to work on your projects. I'm going to introduce to you the last element of your project, which is the lightning strike. And then you're going to have all of today's class period to work on it. However, there is still a warm up and an exit ticket that is going to help you process through how to do that lightning strike. So as always, in the warm-up tab, you'll find warm-up 422, and then in the exit ticket tab, you'll find exit ticket 422. In the lesson plans, here's the warm-up. You're going to pick which of these lightning strikes you're going to look into researching. Now, you can't predict what your future is going to be, so I'm not going to ask you to make it realistic, like, do you think you're a cheater, or are you actively depressed, or do you gamble? But you're going to just choose one. So maybe touch base with your partner and say, hey, which of these are we going to do? And then after you've done your work for the day, you can go ahead and answer the exit ticket, which is what source did you find to help with your lightning strike, and what are typical causes of the issue, and what are positive, realistic, practical solutions to the issue. If you're like, wait, what's this all about? Stay tuned because I'm about to explain that. Before we get too far, though, for all of the elements of your project, you can find all of the rubrics in the announcements tab. Now, the thing is, I posted these announcements at the beginning of the year, not the beginning of the calendar year, but school year. So this goes all the way back. So look how far I'm scrolling. Scroll. It goes all the way down to here. Marriage project rubrics. It's right before fake wives because the other class had too many men, so I needed to create fake wives for them. So right where you see marriage project rubrics, there's going to be 3 rubrics. Journal rubrics, which will have the prompts for all 4 journals. Budget rubrics, which will have the requirements for the 2 different budgets. And lightning strike rubric, which is the one we're going to be working on today. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to this rubric. So there are 4 categories. This one is worth double what a normal journal would be. And you'll notice, so format, the 6 points for format here is the only place that your blog is judged by how it looks. And now it doesn't have to be super beautiful, but I need to be able to tell that you tried editing this blog, at least from its original settings. So if it still has that original post that says hello world, and it clearly has stock imagery that has nothing to do with your project, fix that and change it and make it your own. Structure and mechanics, you have to use good English. Authenticity, a lot of people lose this points here because they deal with their lightning strike in a way where it's like, he was an alcoholic, but then we sat down and had a talk, and now he doesn't drink anymore. Like, that's not how it works. If you did your research, you know that oftentimes when people struggle with things, there's a process that they have to undergo to achieve victory. And then support and research, this is the evidence that you have actually researched your topic and that you've written enough on it. The lightning strike needs to be a double journal, which is 2 pages MLA, which is roughly 500 words. So for the lightning strikes prompt, oh, and by the way, it doesn't have to be MLA formatted, just saying like the number of words needs to be like a 2-page MLA paper. So the prompt is, a problem has hit your marriage. How will you respond? Again, you're writing autobiographically, like he just cheated, or she has a gambling addiction, or he did this thing. So here's what needs to be included down here. A personal reflection on how you would most likely feel in this situation. So knowing yourself, try to make that part realistically, how you would respond to that. A desire to reconcile or restore. So it can't be, so we're going to get divorced. That can't be the answer. You have to try to fix the thing. Practical steps toward reconciliation and research that shows how to do so, meaning you're working on fixing the thing, and your attempt to fix this thing needs to look like what it should look like in reality. Research indicating why these types of things happen and how they typically affect couples. So like you need to show evidence that you know a little bit about this thing and what it typically does in relationships, and that needs to kind of match your spouse. Now, this last bit right here, realistic responses from your class spouse, this is an important point. you guys as a couple only need to have one lightning strike, which means um, it could be if like one person has a gambling addiction, one person is going to write their lightning strike from the perspective of the person with the addiction, and the other person will write from the perspective of someone who's like trying to work it out with a person who has an addiction. Or so like let's look at these potential lightning strikes. You only need to have one of these things. And these are the pre-approved ones. If you have some other sort of lightning strike that you would love to research and figure out how to work through, by all means, approve it first with me, but then you can go ahead and research it. So one, a spouse has an affair with a coworker, but is repentant. So they had an affair, they want to work it out though. Spouse becomes clinically depressed. And I'm not talking, oh, they were a little bit sad, but like diagnosably depressed. You both lose your job and are being evicted. So like financial hardship, but not just like, oh, money's tight right now, but like the kind where you're getting kicked out of your home. You discover your spouse is a compulsive gambler. You discover your spouse is addicted to pornography. Your spouse, so you'll notice that there's a few gambling, pornography. I think down here is alcoholic. There's a few that deal with addiction where you'll have to do addiction research. Your spouse does not want any children, and you do. Your in-laws hate you, or your parents hate your spouse. A child dies in a tragic accident. Your spouse is lazy, refuses to get a job, and doesn't help with the chores. So these are your potential lightning strikes that you can choose, and do some research into figuring out how people get through them. Now, it's important that you practice internet literacy, because the first source that you find on Google is not always going to be the best. If you're looking up, like if you find that it's a law firm who's giving you advice about your marriage and you know that they also get paid to do divorce papers, you might not want to be looking at theirs. Oftentimes Psychology Today, even like Focus on the Family, some Christian websites will have some really good stuff about how to navigate through some of these things. Naturally, with the addiction ones, there's like good addiction organizations that help like spouses know how to deal with these sorts of things. But remember, only one person has to have the issue, and then the other person is writing from the perspective of helping. So that is the lightning strike that you guys need to do. So work it out with your partners, do some research during this class period, and work hard. You got your 4 journals, like your personality types, your wedding, your first year of marriage, and your first big fight. You have 2 journals, which there's a whole separate assignment that like explains how to do the journals and where to post them and all that. And then the lightning strike. So you have a total of 7 elements that you need to complete for this big final project. And that's that. So if you're totally on top of things and you knock out this lightning strike thing and you're still like, I have some time to work, then work on memorizing your memory verse and set up an appointment with me. That's all, guys. Have a wonderful day. Work hard. Peace.